Okay, our next questioner is Nimco Ahmed.
Paul, how you doing?
Good.
My name is Nimco Ahmed. I am a community organizer who has extensive experience in political campaigns, both nationally and also in the state level. I'm also a member of the reNEW Minnesota board and Take Action Minnesota as well. With that, I'm also a state director for the DFL, so I am an automatic delegate. So let's just say I'm just tired of losing, my friends. But let me make this clear: I'm not just tired of losing, but I am tired of knowing that we had the votes all along to win the seat. This whole time that we've been losing. So the reason why I joined this campaign is because I'm convinced that simply doing what we have been doing in the past, even bigger and better, will not be enough. So the motivation for our campaign here is to make sure that for the first time we will actually make the people of Minnesota the winners that they have been waiting for. So my question is this: what is different about your campaign, and what is your strategy to actually win in November?
Yeah. Well, that's on a lot of people's minds, as you can imagine. And the great thing for me, I wake up every day more and more convinced that we're going to win the endorsement, but also win the general election, which is the prize that we have to win. And I feel that way because every day I see the team around me growing and growing and growing more enthusiastic. And that, I think, is the way that we're going to win this election, to continue that kind of momentum of building a team that's going to move us forward. You know, it's not just about the individual, obviously. It's about the enthusiasm of everybody around you. We started this campaign over a year ago, knowing it was going to take a lot of time and hard work and energy to build the kind of support we were going to need. And it's been paying off. You know, we started as an also running candidacy, and today we're right in the mix. We're among the top tier of candidates competing for the endorsement. And I think that's because of a number of things. It's about hard work. You know, we have been out to 83 counties. We've been working harder, I think, than anybody else in this race, getting out, engaging with people in their communities, and that pays off. It matters where you're born in this state, but it matters more that you're there now and talking to people. And that we have over a dozen DFL party chairs and associate chairs and elected officials in greater Minnesota who are publicly supporting the campaign, and it's a direct result of that work. And to win this election, we're going to need a candidate that's going to work incredibly hard. It's also about the fact that we've assembled a great campaign staff. I think a staff that's as good as anybody else's in the campaign, and we have volunteers coming in every night making phone calls. We're going to make 16,000 phone calls before precinct caucuses. And we have the endorsement of the Minnesota Nurses Association, which I was thrilled about, and they're talking to people in their homes about the most important issue on their minds, which is health care and how we can transform that system. But above all, it's the message that we're sharing with people. And it's a message that's about economic security for families, about what goes on the four walls of their house instead of the four walls of the state capitol. And that's how you actually engage people and talking to them. And it's about the future and really reaching into people's house. The way Republicans win is by fear. The way we're going to win is by appealing to the very best in Minnesotans. And what I think is the very best in Minnesotans is that knowledge in their heart that this is a special and extraordinary place. And what the candidacy has to be about, what our campaign is about, is really reaching into people's house and calling on that and challenging people to turn that belief into a reality. And by doing that, we can truly not just win this election, but win it in a way that's going to give us the kind of momentum we need to govern ourselves out of the mess that we're really in. And so that's how we're going to do it.
Well, for a follow-up question, you know, I've been involved in every gubernatorial campaign, and everyone we've lost, we keep trying to do it seems like the same things over and over again, the same campaign techniques, the same things. Has your campaign learned anything from some of these losing campaigns, and from the past, and what is that, and how is that going to help you?
Yeah, well, I mean, we are trying to communicate with people in a lot of different ways. You know, we're holding Twitter town halls, we're holding online chats where people can call up. I think that the way we're going to really do this in this new century and win this election is actually to take risks and to be out there in front of people willing to kind of answer their questions and engage in dialogue. That's what traveling all over the state has been about. That's what our online efforts have been about. And that's, I think, the kind of campaign, you know, it's not playing it safe, it's not playing it conventional, it's not taking risks, it's taking risks. And not just risks about policy, but risks about how you actually go out and get in front of people. To be willing to kind of sink your hands into the dirt a little bit and engage with people in a real way. And that's what I think my campaign is about. That's how I've always conducted my legislative campaigns by getting out and talking to people. And not only, again, does it make a difference in winning campaigns, but it really helps you to govern afterwards because you really have a sense of what the pulse of Minnesota is all about.
Thank you.
Thank you. And so our last speaker would be Bernie.
Bernie.
Right, Paul. I'm Bernie Hess. I'm a member of the Food Commercial Workers Union. I've been a member for 30 years. The reNEW Minnesota vision is very big. It changes direction for the state. It's truly a different way to go. This vision calls for restructuring of who holds power in the state, the role of government, the essence of democracy. I'm excited about this, and quite frankly, I'm just tired of the same old, that benefits a few at the expense of us all when we get into these races, and we just haven't been successful. This whole vision is not going to be achieved overnight. You know, hopefully we can get something going in 4 years and get us started down a new path. When and if you're elected governor, you're walking into a mess, and this is going to be a world of hurt. And what I'm concerned about is you're governor, you come in here, and all of a sudden you've got to deal with the mess. But we're also wondering, how can you deal with the mess and not park the bus of reNEW Minnesota? And your thoughts on that?
Well, I think that's a great question again. And the first thing that I would say, one of the reasons I am running for governor is because we are in such a mess. And you know, we need, and I would say this about the other candidates as well, is that people really are stepping up because they want to take on this challenge and do better for the future generation. A couple things that I would think about that. The first that I would say is that my concept of government, you know, especially when you're walking into this really terrible financial mess, and you're going to have people on all sides of you wanting to protect what's very dear to them that may be very different from someone else, that can be a very lonely position to be in. And I think one of the great things about the reNEW Minnesota vision is that it creates a community around. So it's not just an individual having to be there sitting in that, you know, lonely chair making this decision on his own, but it's actually a community of people who can support and who can change the tenor and discussion around these politics and support whatever decisions, you know, if I happen to be elected governor, whatever decisions I make, and make them in a way that challenges some people, that will be there to support that. And I think that that part of this vision is really important. And I know that that's true from the work that we did on the Children's Health Security Act, where it really was that movement of people out in the community calling legislators, talking to legislators, and giving us a sense that there was this need and support out there to accomplish that. The other thing that I think is really important is that I think that the job of the next governor, really the job of this generation as we look forward, is to be rebuilding Minnesota's economy. And that is not going to happen overnight, and it's to rebuild it learning the lessons of the past. The reason we are where we are is because we have had flat wages in this state. And we have increasing healthcare costs, increasing energy costs, all the costs of living are going up. And it's no wonder people started to borrow to try to stay ahead. As we rebuild this economy, we have to remember that that is the fact, and rebuild in a way that is focusing on the economies of families instead of on the corporate bottom line. And that's a long-term project, really a generational project. And I think that one of the other great things about this reNEW Minnesota vision is it speaks directly to that fundamental goal of what we have to accomplish. And all the other things about healthcare and education and everything else kind of falls into that primary job. And what this vision is talking about is building a state that is fair, more prosperous for everybody, and more just. And I think what that vision will do is actually sustain us as we go through these really hard times. And so, again, I'm really excited that this vision is here and you put this all together.